folks, and welcome in to the Truck King YouTube channel. This is the Ford Rouge Center. It is considered the longest continuously operating automobile manufacturing facility anywhere in the United States. It has a storied history that begins in 1918 when the factory was erected to build Eagle boats for the war effort. And of course, that is the World War I war effort, just to give you a sense for how long this factory has been building things. Now, there have been trucks built here, the Mustang was built here, even tractors were built here. But today, in 2025, at the Dearborn Truck plant at the Rouge Center, the Ford F-150 comes to life. So in this video, we're going to do a full factory tour. I'm going to show you how a brand new F-150 is built. And then, of course, we'll dive a little bit more into the history of this amazing facility, so make sure you stay tuned. Our stop at the Dearborn Truck plant at the Rouge Complex was actually part of a larger road trip from our home just outside of Toronto, Ontario, all the way down to Lake Havasu City, Arizona, so we could attend the Ford Raptor Rally. And yes, we drove a brand new 2025 F-150 Raptor down there. So if you want to see a video on that massive road trip across the country and what went on at Raptor Rally, make sure you go check out those here on the channel. For now, we're just focused on F-150 production and the Rouge River facility, so let's dive into it. Our tour began on some of these elevated catwalks above the manufacturing facility, which is a great way to get a sense for just how big this plant truly is. Now, I will mention right up top, we only had about an hour inside of Dearborn Truck plant, so no, I'm not going to be able to show you the whole process from beginning to end, but we did see some of the major highlights. This is the point where we joined the production line, so you can see the frame already has its full powertrain and suspension all installed, and this worker is putting on the tires. And yes, that is a Raptor, so that is a 35-inch tire. Now, fun story on the tires, the 37-inch tires don't fit on this conveyor belt you see here, because yes, the tires come from a different part of the factory on an overhead conveyor. They drop down and then they are put on. So for the trucks that get 37-inch tires, they're actually initially installed with these goofy looking, much smaller wheels and tires. Now, these are simply just placeholders because the 37s have to go to a different part of the factory, and then eventually the truck will be pulled and it will meet up with its 37-inch tires, be put up on this lift, and have them installed. So yes, when Ford moved to 37s, they couldn't just totally re-engineer the line, so they have to pull each one of those trucks off of the line just to put those massive tires on, and that's definitely a fun part of the story. Next, we get to what is always the most exciting part of the production process of a body-on-frame vehicle, at least in my opinion, and that is body and frame marriage. This is when a massive robot puts together the pre-assembled body with the pre-assembled frame. And yes, it's much easier to build those two things separately. To install the powertrain and suspension on the frame, it's easier to do that when the body's not in your way. So these two things roll down the line in different parts of the plant. They get nearly fully assembled, and then they come together at the body and frame marriage. And again, this is always the coolest machine to watch in the plant, in my opinion, because it takes the truck from looking like just a skeleton to actually looking like a real truck. Now, as we stood there, we watched 3 different trucks come together, and this final truck is an F-150 Raptor. And just like most modern production facilities, you're going to notice all of the trim levels, all of the engines, they're all mixed up on the line. It's not like they build 10 Raptors in a row and then 10 XLTs, nothing like that. Production is entirely mixed based on demand. Now that the body and frame are married together, you can see a worker here up on an elevated platform tightening up the bed bolts to make sure the bed is on properly. And next, the truck gets doors. And just like the tires, the doors come down from a conveyor belt overhead and they meet up with their specific truck. And there's all kinds of different doors. You can see more basic doors here, and then next up you can see doors from a King Ranch. And then when I finally got out there, this worker was installing doors on that Raptor that we just watched get married. So yes, now the trucks get their doors. After all of those assembly processes are completed, the trucks are brought over here to the WAHA station. That is wheel alignment and headlight alignment. So this worker will make sure everything is lined up properly before driving the truck up into one of these lines for its final inspections. Let's pause here and talk a little bit more about the history of this incredible facility. Now, the idea behind the Rouge River Complex was to take cars from ore to assembly. Henry essentially wanted to build every single piece of the vehicle right here at the Rouge River facility, and that's exactly what he did. From a massive foundry that would pour engine blocks, cylinder heads, intake and exhaust manifold, and other automotive parts, to a huge glass factory, everything was on site here at the Rouge to take cars from raw materials right up to fully produced. And of course, the location on the Rouge River was crucial because all of those raw materials could arrive by ship. There was even a massive power plant that opened in 1920 in the Rouge facility, and it powered the entire complex along with about 1/3 of the Highland Park plant's needs as well. And of course, Highland Park was across town building Model Ts. Finally, F-150 production was moved to the Rouge in 2004, and of course, the truck has seen many changes since then. The very first SVT Raptor rolled off the line here at the Rouge. The first F-150 Tremor also rolled off the line here at the Rouge. And yes, starting in 2021, the all-electric Ford F-150 Lightning is also built here at the Rouge River facility. F-150 Lightning assembly is currently paused at the Rouge Electric Vehicle Center and will remain paused as they prioritize building gas and hybrid trucks. And many of the hourly workers that were building Lightnings will now move next door to the Dearborn Truck plant where they will build gas and hybrid F-150. So it's not good news for the all-electric Lightning, but overall, Ford is adding capacity and building more trucks at the Rouge facility. And now, back to the plant tour. Here you can see quality checks in action. So first you'll notice the lights. That is to mimic bright sunlight to make sure that any defects that might have been hidden by the dark will reveal themselves. And then anything that can move or be opened on the truck will be operated. And these workers are feeling for inconsistencies, listening for squeaks and rattles, anything like that. Now this light tunnel, once the humans have done their job, employs robot eyes. So basically there's many cameras in that tunnel constantly scanning the truck, and it's looking for panel gap inconsistencies or any problems with the manufacturing process. So not only does a set of humans go through the truck, but then the robots get a hold of it, and using AI technology, Ford is able to make sure that these things are all put together properly. One other interesting note, every single F-150 Raptor rolls down this line twice. After those quality checks are done, the trucks roll through the 2.5-minute water-soaked tunnel. So highly pressurized water will be sprayed all over the F-150, at which point somebody will climb into the truck and check for any leaks. Finally, a worker will take each one of these trucks out for a quick validation drive, once again feeling for inconsistencies and listening for any squeaks and rattles. And at the end of it all, you end up with one of these, a brand new Ford F-150 Raptor, just like the one that we drove across the country. Well folks, we are coming to the end of this video. Now this was just a short tour at the Dearborn Truck plant. I wish we could have stayed longer, but we had to hit the road because we had a big road trip ahead of us. So thanks so much to Ford for having us and showing us around, because even just seeing that small part of the process was pretty incredible. Now, why don't you drop in the comments, let me know about everything you saw in this video, and don't forget, we're going to put out a F-150 Raptor road trip video and a video all about the Raptor Rally in Arizona, so make sure you come back to the channel for that. Oh yeah, and don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit join, become a member of Truck King, and then come right back here to the channel and see what we're testing next. See ya.